over the top. Play, the hands of the move down towards where the ball is at impact. Therefore, I go to have lower, which is far better to do. Let's try to manually shallow. Let's do this. Let's do this. Also, you can have it around. I might be able to do it. Look at my elbow is. Let's do my belt. Make sure that I put my arms and put my elbow down. And of course, lower my arms. Let's do it. Lower the arms. Lower the arms. Get more slide. Get more. And the ball is solid. Specialized. Well, how do you get this from my elbow? Palm to the top. If my goal is to get my elbow into, that's over. To shallow the club in the downswing, I'm afraid to tell you, you've been wasting your time. There's a better way to do it. I can explain to you in this video what that better way is. But before we do that, I kind of just want to give some context to this and explain to you why it might have been kind of actually holding you back from playing your best golf. Now you can see that my club face is pointing pretty much down towards my target. What is the mechanism from here that would cause me to open the club face? Well, that would be my lead forearm and rotating it sort of away from the target. So if I was to rotate my lead forearm away from the target or to my right, you can see how the face opens. And I can do that a fair bit. I can open it probably by kind of 90 degrees if I use some of that rotation from my shoulder. So when I rotate my arm to my right, that opens the club face. Okay, and we can all see that there. You can all do that. You can try it. You can experiment with that. So let's go into a sort of halfway back position, or you can even this be a halfway down position. So when I take my lead arm and I rotate it to my right, which is kind of this way, what does that do? It shallows the club, okay? So this would be what we kind of see, or we would know is shallowing the club, where the grip stays kind of in its place, but the club shaft gets closer to horizontal. That's shallowing the club. What did I do? I rotated my forearm to my right. So, shallowing the club is in almost all cases also opening the face. Now, what is the one thing that the majority of golfers do not need in their golf swing, do not need more of? They do not need that club face to be more open. So if you are a slicer, if you're someone who comes over the top, if you're someone who hits fades, if you're someone who swings out to in, all of those things are probably present because you have an open face. If you start trying to shallow the golf club, you're opening the face even more and you're going to get yourself into a whole world of trouble. So there's a better way to do it. And to know what that better way is, we can use some great examples. We're going to take a look at Adam Scott and we're going to take a look at Tiger Woods back in his pomp. And what I want you to do, have a look at the screen, you can see it. We're going to get both Adam and Tiger to impact with an iron. So right at impact. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line that goes all the way through that golf club and extends right the way back kind of through their head. You can see that line there. That's their impact. That's where their golf club is at impact. Now if we take them to the top of their golf swing, what will you see? Well, you'll see both the hands and the club are higher or above that reference point that we drew, that line that we drew. So what do they need in their downswing? What does Adam and Tiger need in their downswing? Do they need to shallow the club? No. Do they need to lower the club? Yes, because currently at the top of their golf swing, their hands, the club shaft and the club head are not on their impact line. They need to lower the club. So when we watch their swings play, you'll see they do that beautifully. Their hands, the club shaft and the club head move down towards where the golf club is at impact. Therefore, I'm going to teach you how to lower the club, which is going to be far more beneficial to you versus trying to manually shallow the club. So let's set up a little drill that you can do. 2 alignment sticks. So you'll need to do this on some grass where you can kind of pop these into the ground. I'll explain kind of how I'll set those up in a moment, but we're going to go through this drill and then we're going to finish the video by I'm going to run you through kind of 2 common mistakes I see people make when they're trying to kind of do this exercise or get the club into the kind of slots. Just want to make sure you're not falling into those mistakes that so many do. So what have I done here? Well, I've basically set those 2 alignment sticks as best I can at the same angle as my golf club. Now we know that at impact the hands tend to be a little bit higher, but this only has to be a guide. It hasn't got to be an exact science, and hopefully you can see from that angle there that they're pretty close. And I've created a channel. So that channel is probably 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5 kind of widths of my club head. So when I make a backswing and I get into my perfect position, I've got to lower the arms, because if I don't, I'm going to miss that channel. I'm going to be quite steep, I'm going to be probably out to win, and I'm going to probably have to sort of back up a little bit with the body to kind of rectify that. So what we see Tiger and Adam do beautifully well is as they're turning their body back towards the target, they are lowering their arms. Watch what happens if I lower my arms as I start to add some body rotation. If I lower and add body rotation, perfect. We get the club into this absolutely ideal position where it's right in that channel. The club shaft is pretty much parallel to my toes, and the club face is going to be pretty neutral provided your grip and wrist conditions are pretty good. Now from here, we're going to get a very, very neutral path. We're going to get a pretty neutral face. We're going to hit straight shots. And the key thing to this, the beauty of this, it's going to be consistent. That's what I want for your golf game. I want you to hit great shots, yes, but I want you to do it consistently. So this is such a simple drill to set up. And what I would have you do is do some swings really quite slowly, just trying to train yourself as to what that might look and feel like. So we make a backswing as normal. We kind of make our body, which is lateral shift and some turn, and we lower the club into the slot. Turn, shift, lower the club. Turn, shift, lower the club. And then from there, we can just go ahead and pivot through. I mean, that's gone, what, 30 yards. You don't have to hit full shots at this stage. I'm looking for you to develop new movements, feel what they're like, kind of get your head around how they might integrate into your golf swing, how it might feel different to what you currently do. Just really build those new concepts and get really, really clear with them. And you can always add the speed a little bit later. For the majority of golfers, adding a bit of speed with these here can be tricky because you're conscious of them, but that's something you can play around with. You might feel a little bit more comfortable than others. Look where my right elbow is relative to my belt. Pretty close. Where was it at the top? Definitely not close, okay? That distance did not stay the same because I was pushing my arms and I was pushing my elbow down relative to my torso. I was lowering my arms relative to my torso. So we go up, shift and turn, lower the arms, shift and turn, lower the arms. And once we get a feeling of what that's like, we can just go ahead and just chip the ball off the tee. And I'm able to hit the ball pretty solid, great strikes by doing that. Now, what are the mistakes I see golfers making? Well, how we do this is really key. You notice I spoke about the elbow and the arms relative to the body. Look at this. If my goal is simply to get my golf club into that zone, how could I get my arms to go more down towards the ground? Well, I could do something like this in my body. Okay, kind of got the club into the right position, but that is not what I want my body to be doing. From here, yes, I might be in the right position with the club, but I'm going to find it very difficult to stabilize the face. I'm probably going to find I'm very flippy through the ball. So we don't want to get the arms down into this zone by simply using weird and wonderful tilts with the body. The other one that golfers often do is they will use kind of some early extension of the body to sort of get the club to feel like it moves down behind them. These are all movements which you can kind of cheat it. If you're simply looking at where the club is, you can do those and go, yeah, I've got the club in the right position. But look what my body's doing when I'm doing this correctly. My body is working exactly as it needs to work. Shift, turn, and almost increasing a little bit of those angles. And the golf club is in the right place. Now, everything's lined up, plus I'm in a position where I can rotate and stabilize the golf club. So, shallowing the golf club. Sergio does it, there's a few others that do it. It's not for everyone. In fact, it's not for most people. It opens the face. Most golfers do not need that. It's gonna make you worse. I would rather you lower the club, just like Adam Scott, just like Tiger Woods, just like many of the world's greats. That's the drill to help you do it. I guarantee you'll hit it.